Hello friends, and welcome to today's episode. A man finds out why his wife sneaks out every night to go to a big mansion. When he finds out why, he makes her see that they can get through anything as long as they love each other. When Lily and John Harris first saw each other, they knew they were meant to be together. They met at a fundraiser put on by friends they both knew. As soon as their eyes met, they realized they wanted the same thing: to love and raise a big family. John was having a drink with his other male friends and talking about how the world was going when he saw her. She saw him almost as soon as he did, and before he knew it, he was standing in front of her and seeing her shyly smile. She blushed and said, "Hey, handsome," but he was only happy. He said, "Hello, beautiful. I didn't know why the room was so hot, but now I do," he said, making her blush even more. They talked the whole time, and when it was time to go, they said they would stay in touch. The next day, John called her and asked her out to dinner. The date had gone very well, and as time went on, they kept being drawn to each other. After a year of dating, the couple got married and moved into a small house they rented every year. As newlyweds, they couldn't stay apart because they had so much in common. When they got home from work, they liked to talk for hours. They also looked forward to nice evenings when they could relax or watch movies together after a hard day. John worked as a system analyst for a large company, and Lily was an auditor for a medium-sized company. They worked reasonable hours and had plenty of free time. They talked about everything in their lives, so they both knew what was going on with the other. Their friendship was loved by everyone around them. "It's been more than 2 months since you got married, but you still look as in love as the day you did," said their nosy neighbor Mrs. Fryer when she saw them at the store. John had said, "Sorry, Mrs. Fryer. But I didn't know that this glow was supposed to go away in just a few weeks." "Well, that's all great, but now we need to see results from all that rolling around, which I'm sure happens every day," Mrs. Fryer shot back, never one to let someone else have the last word. John laughed at what she said, but it stuck with Lily. 5 months later, she started acting suspiciously. Even though they were close, it didn't take long for John to notice that she was different. She talked to him less, and they started to grow apart. "Hey, honey, do you want to see a movie this weekend?" When she got home from work on a Friday night, he asked, "I hear there are good ones on," but she told him, "No. I can't this time, sweetheart, because I have work and other things to do. You know, audit periods always come with a lot of paperwork, and I've been missing out on them lately." John started to say, but she cut him off. "I know we haven't had much time off lately, but I promise you, sweetheart, I'll make it up to you." The next day, John, who usually went to bed early so he could get up before traffic, woke up in the middle of the night and saw that Lily wasn't there. First, he put his hand on the spot and felt it. It was cold, which meant she had been out of bed for a while. She might have been in the bathroom. "Honey," he shouted, but no one replied. He was confused, so he quickly looked around the house and saw that his wife was nowhere to be found. Her car wasn't in the driveway anymore, so she must have left. John was more worried than suspicious that day, but that wasn't enough to keep him from drifting off to sleep. When he woke up, his wife was back at home as if nothing had happened. He decided he had to find out what was keeping her up at night, so he made plans to follow her the next time she went out. 2 days later, he got his chance when she sneaked out of bed again while he was still sleeping. She quickly got in her car and drove to a place a few blocks away. John decided to act like he was sleeping, but when she drove away, he quickly got up and got dressed so he could follow her in his own car. It was horrible because he had to drive without headlights so she wouldn't get scared that she was being followed. After all, it was 2 a.m., and their neighborhood was as quiet as a grave. She took him to a big house, and he watched her go inside. He was angry as he watched his wife walk into the building. He could easily jump to conclusions. He went back to their house and had time to think about what had happened before Lily came home. He finally decided to go back to bed and talk to her the next day. He got up at 6 a.m., but instead of getting ready for work, he tapped Lily, who was lightly snoring next to him. What? She asked in a sleepy voice. "Where have you been going without telling me, Lily?" he said to her. That woke her up completely, and she sat up in bed, visibly shaken, right away. "Did you really think I didn't know?" he said. "Who is that? John?" she cried out. "That's not like anything else, and I can explain why." "Of course, you can. Then let's hear it. Why have you been going to a mansion in the middle of the night without telling anyone?" Lily had no choice but to tell the truth after her secret got out. She said, "I'm sorry, John. It's true that I've been sneaking out, but it's not to meet a man." "Of course, I think that's what a good liar would say," John said, still not believing him. Lily said in a matter-of-fact way, "Fine, I'll show you, get in the car." As they drove to the house, they didn't talk because they were both thinking. John had to think about what the house could mean if his accusations were wrong, while Lily worked up the courage to tell him something. "After this, he won't want to have anything to do with you," a dry voice told her. "Enough," she said, and it stopped. Nothing could make her give up. She had no other options. When they got to the house, Lily took him inside and up to a room for babies and young children. John wasn't sure what was going on yet when Lily told him the big news. "John, I went to see Dr. Keller a few days ago, and he told me that I can't have children, even with IVF," she said. She also said that the house had been left to her by her parents, who had died in a car accident. Since they got married, she had been making changes behind their backs. One of the things she added was the nursery. She said, "I did all of these things only to find out that I can't even have babies, which makes me very sad." Lily told him she had hoped to tell him I'm pregnant while they were living in the house, but it didn't happen. "This is where we should have raised our big family, John. We both wanted that, but we can't have it because of who I am," she sobbed. It made her very sad, and she couldn't help but cry as she told her husband everything. He was shocked because he had been so focused on how he felt that he had missed out on a lot. He ran to her and told her right away that nothing could stop him from loving her. "My love, we could have gotten through this together. You didn't have to go through this by yourself," he told her as she cried into his chest. "It's fine, my love. There are many ways to have a child, and we can pay for all of them," he told her as he hugged her tighter. She cried even more when she heard what he said and realized that all her worries about telling him and him being disgusted by her were in her head. John told her he loved her even though she couldn't have children. He also told her they could adopt a child. It took a while, but a year after they got married, they were able to adopt twins, a boy and a girl. The first one was called Benny, and the second one was called Bethel. They had planned to take in only one, but when they found out they were twins, they decided not to split them up. They were happy raising their twins in their mansion for months. Because being parents was something they had always wanted to do, they learned how to do it like pros. They didn't stop trying to get pregnant, though, and one day, a miracle happened. Lily got pregnant with their own child. Luckily, nothing out of the ordinary happened during Lily's pregnancy, and she gave birth to a healthy boy, whom they named Samuel to show how kind God is. That's it for today, friends. Please let us know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in next time for more amazing stories.